All right, everybody, welcome back to JFabe Wrestling, episode number 23, WrestleMania 23, rebooking. So let's get into it. This took place 2007 in Detroit at the Ford Field Center. And here's the card. So we got the Money in the Bank ladder match, Mr. Kennedy winning, and he defeated CM Punk, Randy Orton, Finlay, Matt Hardy, King Booker, Jeff Hardy, and Edge. Got the Great Khali versus Kane. Chris Benoit defending against MVP. The Undertaker defeating Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship. The ECW Originals, RVD, Tommy Dreamer, Sabu, and the Sandman defeat the New Breed Elijah Burke, Marcus Corbin, Matt Striker, and Kevin Thorne. We got Bobby Lashley with Donald Trump in his corner defeating Umaga, with Austin as special guest referee for the Battles of the Billionaires. And then we got the Lumberjill match, Women's Championship, Melina defeating Ashley. And in the main event, we have John Cena defeating Shawn Michaels by submission. I thought this was a pretty good Mania. I felt like there's just a few things I will change. Both of the main events were good. I keep the same. I enjoyed the Battle of the Billionaires. I felt like there should have been an ECW Championship match here, so I did something different with who's holding the ECW title. Also, there's a lot of star power in the Money in the Bank. They probably should have had their own matches. Specifically, Randy and Edge, they were kind of part of Rated RKO, and they were kind of about to split up, so I felt like, maybe they both should have did something better than that. And, but aside from that, yeah, it was a pretty good card. So let's get into my rebooking. Here we go. Alright, the first match I have is for the Cruiserweight Championship. Gregory Helms defending against Jimmy Wang Yang. Yeah, just really simple feud here. I believe Gregory Helms, he won the title last year at the Royal Rumble, so I'd have him hold it all the way till here. He's the longest reigning champion in the WWE at the moment, and Jimmy Wang Yang can win a number one contenders match. He could defeat Chavo Guerrero. He was kind of getting steam. He was kind of getting over with this unique gimmick. And I'd actually have Gregory Helms retain here and save a Jimmy Wang Yang win for Judgment Day, just because I feel like it won't be remembered as much. And yeah, be a good moment for Gregory Helms, aka the Hurricane, to finally get a big win at WrestleMania. Alright, next up we got the Women's Championship match. We could have a Lumberjill match as well, but I'll have Mickie James versus Melina. So I believe Melina was champion coming into this match, but and she defeated Mickie James, so you might as well just save that for WrestleMania. Mickie James did defeat Lita and when she retired, so I'd have her hold it here until WrestleMania. And yeah, again, simple feud here. Melina could win a, number one contenders match. And yeah, she could just be talking about how Mickie James is jealous of Melina because, the paparazzi follows her. She's a big star and all that. And Mickie James can say, I'm not jealous or obsessed with you. You ain't no Trish Stratus. She could say something like that, which would be pretty funny. And yeah, I'd give Melina the win. She's the next coming heel in the division. She could run it for a bit, so yeah. Alright, next up we got Extreme Rules match. The New Breed Sabu, Tommy Dreamer, and Sandman versus the New Breed Elijah Burke, Marcus Corvon, and Hardcore Holly. So again, I took RVD out of the match. I have him doing something better. And yeah, it could be the same feud where, the New Breed want to take over ECW, and Hardcore Holly is very interesting because he's not a new wrestler, but he's new to ECW, so he joins up with the New Breed saying they need some, veteran leadership, so he could join them. And yeah, the real match was just a regular tag match, which I find strange. I think it definitely should have been an Extreme Rules match. Have, Sabu, Sandman, Tommy Dreamer go crazy with the weapons. It'll be a good match and give the New Breed a feel-good win. Alright, next match we got Battle of the Tag Team Champions, Paul London and Brian Kendrick versus the world's greatest tag team. So yeah, Paul London and Brian Kendrick, they've had this historic run. They won the title, I believe, at Judgment Day, and they beat all comers. And the world's greatest tag team, they reformed late in 2006, I believe. I would have them win the tag titles after, DX got injured. There was a tournament, and just a straight up challenge from Paul and Brian Kendrick saying, hey, World's Greatest Tag Team, you claim you're the greatest tag team. Well, let's prove it at WrestleMania. So they kind of challenged them, and World Greatest Tag Team will accept. And yeah, they'll just cut some, interview promos on each other saying, World's Greatest, Paul and Brian Kendrick can say World's Greatest Tag Team, they're a past, we've been the greatest tag team for the past year. And, the World's Greatest Tag Team say, Paul and Brian Kendrick are lucky they're not on SmackDown, or they would be champions, and that, it took so long for them to finally get back together, but we're back and we're here to prove that we're the best tag team. So should be a fun match, and I would actually give the World's Greatest Tag Team an upset win. Maybe they could, hold the ropes or pull the tights or something. All right, next match, we got the Money in the Bank ladder match. So we got Matt Hardy, Kane, Mark Henry, and Mr. Kennedy from SmackDown. Then we got Jeff Hardy, Carlito, Chris Masters, and Kenny Dystra from Raw. You got a good mix of talent here. You got, ladder specialists like Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy. You got a couple power guys like Kane, Mark Henry, and Chris Masters. You also got some high flyers with Carlito, Kenny Dystra. And yeah, the build would be the same. Have a couple qualifier matches, and all the competitors come out and say, "Oh, I'm gonna win." You know how that goes. And yeah, I would have Jeff do that same spot he did to Edge, but maybe do it on like a Mark Henry or something. And I'd still give Mr. Kennedy the win, although his cash-in didn't happen. I felt like, he was definitely most deserving out of all the guys in the match. And yeah, should be a good match. All right, next up we got the U.S. Championship match, Chris Benoit versus MVP. So the same match that happened on the card here, but I'll probably give MVP the win. He did win later on Judgment Day, but WrestleMania is a good showcase moment to make a star. So, and you can have the same feud going in. Obviously, MVP, the cocky punk kid, and Chris Benoit, the humble grizzled veteran. Just a great mix. Benoit could say, I've beaten so much punk kids like you that come and go, and MVP could say, hey, I'm the biggest star in SmackDown. I'm going to prove it by defeating a former world champion at WrestleMania. So yeah, should be a really good match, and like I said, gives MVP the shine on a big show. Alright, next up we got the Intercontinental Championship match. Champion Johnny Nitro defending against Ric Flair. So yeah, I have Johnny Nitro. He's feuding with Jeff over the IC title. I'll have him regain it back. And yeah, just, you could even have like Ric Flair kind of flirting with Melina. And then Johnny Nitro could come out and say, hey, Rick, this ain't the 80s anymore. No one likes you, you old man. And, Rick can say the problem with the new era is they're so disrespectful to people. And they can't even lace my boots. So you can have that play a role. And, you can have Melina talk bad about Ric Flair as well. A couple mixed tag matches with Mickie James and Flair versus, Nitro and Melina. And, I think it'd be a solid match. Ric Flair, obviously he wasn't on the card in real life, so I think he deserved to be on the card. And he could put Johnny Nitro over. Alright, next up we got Finlay versus King Booker. So yeah, just typical feud here. Obviously Finlay was in King Booker's royal court. He was doing a lot of, the dirty work for King Booker. And yeah, eventually Finlay could snap and just hit King Booker with a shillelagh and say, I'm tired of dealing with you. I ain't no Raw Knight. I'm a true king. I'm Finlay. King Booker could say, call Finlay a peasant. And you could even have King Booker, pounce on Hornswoggle to get some heat. Yeah, I think it'll be a fun match. And I'm not fully turning Finlay face. He's just kind of turned on King Booker, but he still does heelish acting. So kind of be like a heel versus heel match. Fun match. And you know what? I'd probably give I'll give King Booker the win. Finlay could have the shillelagh, but King Booker could also have the scepter, and he hits first and he gets the win. Alright, next up we got Battle of Rated RKO, Randy Orton versus Edge. And yeah, they were definitely building towards this feud. Obviously at the Royal Rumble, it looked like Edge was going to spear Randy. He kind of found out, and before they were about to brawl, they still had to deal with Shawn and Undertaker. And then they also had I believe a triple threat match with Shawn Michaels, and they both lost to become number one contender. And yeah, you can have a feud where, Edge says, I took you from obscurity and now, you think you're better than me. And Randy could say, you took me from obscurity. I won the world title in my second year. And it took you around 8 years to win your world title, and you had to get a briefcase to do it. So yeah, they could kind of just have some, good back and forth promos here and there. Some surprise RKOs, some surprise spears attacks. And yeah, it would be a good match. And like I said in the previous match, it would kind of be heel versus heel. No one was really turning face here. It's just, two arrogant, cocky pricks who don't like each other. So it'll be a good match. And I'd actually give maybe Edge the win. Randy could go for an RKO. Edge could push him off and then hit the spear. Obviously, at this time, Edge was undefeated as well, so I'm keeping that in mind for next year's WrestleMania. So, yeah. All right, next up, we got the ECW Championship. Rob Van Dam versus CM Punk. So, yes. So, first off, no Bobby Lashley on ECW. He stays on SmackDown. And to be honest, I wouldn't even have Big Show on ECW. I'd just have Sabu win the belt from RVD. When he got, suspended for marijuana, him and RVD can trade wins. RVD finally gets the final win at December to Dismember, and so CM Punk wins a number one contenders match. And yeah, it could be just a respect feud. RVD can say, hey, I know you're a new breed coming up, but ECW is my show. And CM Punk can say, I always looked up to you, RVD. Aside from the fact that you do drugs and get suspended, so a little bit of heat there, but it'll be kind of play off a ECW original versus new breed, but CM Punk is also a face as a new breed, so it kind of gives it a pretty cool dynamic here. And I would actually have CM Punk when RVD was on the way out, and I think this would be a great moment for CM Punk to win. I know he won later on in the year, but WrestleMania is a showcase. And, he deserved a big win on a big stage. All right, next up, we got the triple main event, the Battle of the Billionaires. Bobby Lashley still on SmackDown versus Umaga with Stone Cold Steve Austin as the special guest referee. Have everything the same here. The build. Obviously, it did start with Trump and Rosie O'Donnell parody match by Vince, created by Vince, which didn't, wasn't a good segment. But, everything afterwards where, they make the challenge, Battle of the Billionaires, hair versus hair. And, Vince picks Umaga. And Trump picks Bobby Lindsay, a.k.a. Bobby Lashley. And, of course, the announcement of the special guest referee, Shane, tells Vince it's Austin. Austin comes out and says he's going to call it right down the middle. You could even have the same things where Lashley jumps through the cage. Obviously, it won't be on ECW. Maybe it would be a Raw where he jumped through the cage that landed on Umaga. And you have Trump and Vince brawling. Just be a good time, fun time. And, you got the other celebrities weighing in on who's going to win. I thought it was a nice touch to it. I'll keep everything the same here, same match. Bobby Lashley gets the win. It was a decent match. And at the end, Austin stuns not just Vince, but also Donald Trump. And obviously, Vince gets his head shaved bald, and I don't think his hair ever recovered. But yeah, it is what it is. All right, next up, we got the semi-main event, WWE Championship. John Cena versus Shawn Michaels. So I switched it up. I just felt the other match, deserved the main event, but this was still a great match, no doubt. Have the same match, same build. Obviously, Shawn wins the triple threat. They become tag champions. They can eventually lose it, and Shawn can, hit John Cena with the sweet chin music. I know coming in they were the tag team champions, but that was kind of dumb. You just had them lose it. yeah, be all about John Cena trying to prove himself, and Shawn Michaels saying he's gonna steal the show again and take John Cena to where he's never been, to the top. And I think it'll be a great match. They did have a great match. What am I saying? But yeah, same result here. Cena gets the win. I probably wouldn't have him tap out Shawn, maybe FU. After they could shake hands. Obviously, Shawn was kind of pissed about something, maybe because Cena wasn't selling the leg. But, an ideal world, they could shake hands. And, yeah. Obviously, their London match was way more talked about, and people like it more. But still, this was a good match. All right, now we're at the main event of the evening for the World Heavyweight Championship. Dave Bautista defending against The Undertaker, as Teddy Long would say. Yeah, I also forgot to mention in the Shawn Cena build, you could have that No Way Out match as well. And that's when Batista spinebusters The Undertaker. Also, before that, when Taker chooses Batista, he has all the champions out there, and he looks at Batista and he does the cutthroat taunt. That was pretty cool. And Batista, saying, I'm not scared of The Undertaker. And, they also had like a nice brawl at the end on the Go Home show. You gotta keep that. It's just battle of two different entities. You got the Dead Man versus the Animal. And I thought the WrestleMania match stole the show. I'd like it a little better than Shawn versus Cena. I just felt like, with the limited time they got, they were hard hitting. No wasted motion, and just a battle of two behemoths. And I think they deserve the main event. Batista was kind of pissed. I heard after he was like, follow that. So yeah, Taker won the Rumble. I felt like he deserved the main event. Ironic love. I don't think the next year. I thought the other match probably should have main evented, but this year I felt Taker and Batista deserved it. And yeah, you close out the show with Taker doing the on one knee taunt with the World Heavyweight Championship with the tongue sticking out. Just a great way to end the show. And yeah. So yeah, guys, let me know what you think about my card. I thought, I think I made things quite better from what we had originally. Obviously, I replaced Ashley with Mickie James, so that would improve the women's championship match. I made the ECW match Extreme Rules match. Also added, decent work in Hardcore Holly in there. Gave something for the tag titles champions to do. For two great tag teams. Maybe I kind of took a lot of stars on the Money in the Bank, but I still think, with the talent in there, it'd still be good. I gave Ric Flair a WrestleMania match. And I have a couple of heel versus heel matches that we're building, Finlay and King Booker, Edge and Randy, and the ECW championship, definitely an upgrade, I believe, rather than not even having it defended. You have a true ECW original in RVD versus a rising ECW star in CM Punk. And, Battle of the Billionaires was great. Keep everything the same. Keep everything the same with the great title matches, Cena and Shawn, and Batista and Undertaker. Alright, so let's get into my card right now. For the Cruiserweight Championship, Gregory Helms defending against Jimmy Wang Yang. For the Women's Championship, Mickie James defending against Melina in a Lumberjills match. In the Extreme Rules match, the ECW original Sabu, Tommy Dreamer, and Sandman versus the ECW New Breed Elijah Burke, Marcus Corvon, and Hardcore Holly. Battle of the Tag Team Champions, the WWE Tag Team Champions, Paul London and Brian Kendrick versus the World Tag Team Champions, the world's greatest tag team. The Money in the Bank ladder match, Matt Hardy, Kane, Mark Henry, Mr. Kennedy from SmackDown, and Jeff Hardy, Carlito, Chris Masters, and Kenny Dykstra from Raw. And we got the U.S. Championship, Chris Benoit defending against MVP. Got the Intercontinental Championship, Johnny Nitro defending against Ric Flair. We got Finlay versus King Booker, battle of the former Court members. We got Randy Orton versus Edge, battle of the former RKO tag team. And for the ECW Championship, we got Rob Van Dam versus CM Punk. And in the Battle of the Billionaires match, the loser must get their head shaved bald. Bobby Lashley with Donald Trump versus Umaga with Vince McMahon with special guest referee Stone Cold Steve Austin. And for the WWE Championship, John Cena defending against Shawn Michaels. And in the main event for the World Heavyweight Championship, Batista defending against The Undertaker. So yeah guys, that is my card. Let me know what you think. Appreciate the support and peace.